There is a place where the lost embers go as their light begins to fade. Ember ran because standing still made them feel helpless. The wall glistened. The painting showed embers on a sacred journey. Ember felt so afraid and alone that it was a relief to find someone to talk to. Ember froze, almost when they noticed a small satchel. The satchel felt heavy, and the statue shone brightly in the light. There was a symbol on the floor. Ember noticed something wrong. There was a round space where something used to fit. To Ember's delight, the golden Ember left, feeling sorry for the stranger now alone in the dark. The stairway opened into a dark forest. Ember could feel fear taking over. They'd washed up alone, somewhere very unfamiliar. Ember felt like they were being watched. The path was blocked. As Ember approached, the flame seemed to call out. With a feeling like falling, the forest had slipped away. Ember felt lost in darkness and ruin. The caged flame stoked new hope in Ember. hope was almost within reach. The flame spoke and Ember listened. The flame lingered ahead. Was it trying to escape? Or leading away? The campfire flickered into life. The ghost spoke. Hope has returned to a forlorn. I will warn them until they choose and will look to the ghost for answers. This is a place to travel through as you like, but none have passed. The forest king now hope, and those who linger will turn forlorn. Again, that word, forlorn. I am just a guide along the way to find. So many lost embers have I seen, more than I could help. The forlorn are those who lost their way. If you find them, send them to me and I will guide them. Ember thought of those they loved, those they'd left behind. There are others lost. Find them and I will guide them. The forest king, the campfire will light the way. Find those who are lost. Bring embers to the fire. Travel wisely. Return if you have lost your way. Inside was a scrap of journal. The strangers on the water went on without me. Where have I landed? Vines and thorns stretch out to trip me. The worm looked helpless, with no way. As Ember picked it up, the worm let out a little yelp. The Wanderer's Diary. Unfamiliar trees, a path overgrown. Is this a resting place? A place between places? stranger whispered. "I've never felt that. What does it feel like? Is it nice? It sounds nice." The broken net hung ominously around the skeleton's neck. They'd moved through such dark places. They lay down and closed their eyes. Warmth was a distant memory, stolen by the passing miles. The stranger blinked at Ember. Barely visible through them, and on a small pier with barely a sound, a lonely fisherman sat. The traveller spoke. "I miss a good roast frog. Oh, how they crackle." The stranger had been forgotten. The stranger looked at Ember with surprise. Someone came back for me. Thank you. The traveler said, "Friend, you need to go see the builder in the caves. Tell them I'm sorry I never came back." The stranger had blazed their own path. The stranger had blazed their own path. Created their own rock, their own islands. They did not need Ember's kindness. But still, Ember stayed. Building a bridge should it ever be needed. The stranger met Ember's eyes. The two shared a moment of silence. The Ember was I'm headed for the crossroad. I've heard there's a nest there. A safe place. The stranger was trapped, caught in a maze. It was hard to make sense of this place. deal just kept on closing. The stranger's voice was hoarse. I just need some time, I think, to see things clearly. The fisherman murmured quietly between sorrowful breaths. The fisherman felt so useless. His former joys were hollow. Sitting out there every day by the pond. Only the dark water to hear him talk. In that darkness, a glimmer flickered. A thought beating like a drum. Thought that went round and round. It all started with a frog. Every day by the pond, a constant reminder. For a brief moment, the fisherman struggled to speak. He looked at Ember, hopeful. The fisherman spoke softly. So over your friends resort, spent every day side by side. So much better when fishing than either from before I meet them. Oh, I can feel useless some days. The fisherman sighed. I wish so. The old man looked carefully at Mom. Well, listen to me here around. Perhaps I'll tell someone. Thank you, Ember. If you need help catching anything, you just ask. You saw the frog? You asked the frog that actually. Please don't tell the frog how much I talk about that. All little worms. But how do you fish without them? One for me, one for the fishes. Slow them down. I just told you everything about best days of my life. I think myself was fate. Stuck on my head ever since. If you need help catching anything, you just ask. The fisherman noticed the broken net Ember was carrying. Let me have a look. See what I can do. With a silk thread, the fisherman carefully knotted it together. With each knot he tied, a net began to form. Here you go. Good as new. The frog stared at Ember, its belly rumbling. was not the gurgling of water or deafening heartbeat. But then... the fog returned Ember's good deed by leading them to a lost forlorn. The stranger stood alone. Their friends have fallen aside, retreating from what came next. The stranger had ventured on. Now they were deep in the woods. It felt so pointless. The stranger spoke hesitantly. "Is the campfire crowded? Let me gather myself. I'll see you there." Ember found the wanderer's diary. The oily smell of frogs. They know more than they will say. They watch me watching them. The stranger spoke. "There's a cook in the swamp. Keep telling them that it doesn't taste right. They'll keep giving you more." The key was nestled between the reeds, but it was just out of reach. The old gate was locked. Ember placed the key in the lock and slowly began to turn it. The stranger gasped for breath. Dark water slipping above their head. The sea didn't care if they sank or swam. Slowly the tides ebbed, washing over old walls. Safe harbor emerging from the inky depths. Ember reached out a hand. The stranger looked down. The ground feels good beneath my feet, friend. The ghost said, "You have done all you can, little one. Your journey, the path to leave this place is blocked. I will guide others to follow after you clear the way." There are others like me who can help. You will always be welcome here in the forest. The stranger said thoughtfully, "I felt so alone. I was so lost." The stranger whispered, "Be kind to yourself." The stranger said, "Take care of those you care about the most." The stranger thought, "I feel ready to move on." The stranger spoke. "My head fills with tears," the stranger said. The stranger said, "Thank you for being so kind." Once again, Ember could feel eyes watching. Ember approached the forlorn, but felt it was different. They said, "I know what I need to do. I don't want to be helped." Ember could not help. Not all problems were puzzles to be solved. Ember uncovered a journal entry. "Dusk brings the longest shadows. The lanthorn comforts me. Soft melodies from home. The wild things listen. Yellow eyes in graying trees." "Do you know where we are? I've been walking forever, lost in the marsh." The two travelers were talking quietly. "Yeah, I got so lost. Why go anywhere else if it's... Yeah, never." The birds scare me though. The guard joked. Another scrawny and with a bag looking all nicely and shiny. Both guards started looking at Ember with a deathly stare. The guard leered. Yes, come a little closer. Let us see what's in that bag. We guard the door to the Forest King. Oh yes, we decide who gets to see the king. The Forest King will want... Yes.